Hello there, my friends. I've been wandering along this absolutely glorious stretch of river, trying to establish, which point am I going to stop at to record from? And the thing is, I got to this point and I thought, yeah, this is the spot. The path is just above us here, looking down, with some onlookers walking past a couple of minutes ago. And we spent so long just trying to think of, the perfect plan, the perfect morning routine, the perfect workout routine, the perfect diet, the perfect way to run our business, all these different things that we feel like we should be doing. And it just comes to a point where you have to make a decision and just get on with it. So terribly frightened. Well, I certainly have been. And the thing is, I know that I'm not alone in this quest of building the life that I really want to lead. And there are millions, I know it, millions of men like me, men like us, who really want to do something, who do feel many times completely paralyzed by doubt and skepticism. And it's not actually, to be honest, I know that I've talked in past videos about worrying about what people think, but I just think, as the kids say these days, it's a lot of cope. There's an awful lot of excuse making and kind of rationalizing ourselves out of just getting the fuck on with what it is that we feel is the best thing to do. And I'll tell you what, the more that you do that, the more you realize that all the different people that you encounter that you think have all of their shit together and have all of their ducks in a row, they really don't. But they just don't let procrastination and perfectionism just completely stall them. They're brave, and they're willing to give things a punt, to give things a go. And I've been thinking a lot actually about sort of puritanism that exists online of every single group, vying for supremacy. And I think I am actually quite sensitive to this, because growing up, it wasn't just my immediate family. Growing up, I was around an awful lot of very strong-willed, quite bossy women who all wanted their way and all consuming kind of dictatorship of what we needed to be doing here and what we could do because of this reason, what we couldn't do because of that reason. And oh my God, it was so stultifying. It was so irritating, frankly, because part of the joy, I've been back in my native hometown for almost 2 years now, and it goes so quickly. But I've been back here for nearly 2 years, and I'm wandering along through all of these glorious places with next to no people in them, able to, I'm just actually going to do this, all of this natural beauty, all of it. And the incredible thing was, I have literally walked over here from where I grew up, and we never came here. We never came here. And do you want to know why we didn't come here? This is my theory. I can't fully know, and I'll come to the word know in a minute. I can't fully know, but I'm pretty convinced that it was because there was so much infighting going on between every single person in my family wanting to have their way and flying off the handle at the most minute of things, that we didn't actually have wasn't the physical energy. I don't think we had the mental energy or clarity to actually come over and experience all of this abundant and beautiful nature, literally right on our doorstep. And it even happens now. It does. I don't allow it to happen as much. I'm a bit of a juggernaut now, actually, when it comes to people. That if things aren't sort of progressing with a certain degree of ease. I just think, okay, I found somebody who wants to fight their way through life, and it's just not what I'm about anymore. And actually, I've been planning to come over on this path for a while. I do definitely still believe that things do happen at the right time, but as much as you can experiment, and as much as you can, as kind of soulless as it might sound, of ticking things off the list, just getting them done for the sheer sake of getting them done, and being out here in the world and interacting with people and seeing the beautiful sights is very, very uplifting. And it does actually make you realise, ultimately, that there is no right or wrong way. There's only your way, you know? And I have said this many, many times. And the more that I actually practice what I preach and put it into practice, the more euphoric and joyful and productive life becomes. It's a self-perpetuating system, getting things done. There's a famous phrase, don't know who came up with it, don't know, you know, when it came about, but it says, well, if you want something done, give it to somebody busy. And my point is, it is about momentum. This is the common denominator. It's the theme that all of the principle that people who are getting stuff done all talk about, momentum. It's never ever letting anything get really stayed, or, you know, just kicking the can down the street. You know, walk down that street, walk down along maybe the slightly inconvenient bit of path, and realise that 99% of worry, or 100% of worry, lives entirely up in your head, and that when you're actually in the moment of getting stuff done, you always find a way through. You always do. Resilience, resourcefulness, bravery, willingness. That's what counts. It's honestly what counts. And it's what I want to bring to my coaching practice. Because I know that, as I say, there are many, many men like me who are what people will call on the more sensitive side of things. But this is why I was talking about Puritanism and this idea of knowledge. People say, oh, well, you know, I know that this works, so it has to work for everybody. And you think, well, yeah, you haven't met those people. You have no idea about their background. You have no idea about, you know, their preferences, what they will do, what they won't do. The perfect plan is meaningless because nobody does it. It's, you find things out as you go. And frankly, it might sound incredibly reductive, but if you haven't actually done it yourself, if you haven't physically experienced it yourself, you can't really judge, you know, on behalf of other people. You can't decide on behalf of other people. And if Eden, the Garden of Eden, paradise, which actually all that means is a walled garden, well, my friends, we know what to do. Tend thy own garden. Nobody likes a pious preacher. They really don't. They don't like being talked down to or judged or instructed or dictated to. Nobody wants it. It makes you prickly, and it makes it less likely that you're going to have a joyful life. And that, frankly, is what I'm about. And for me, it might not work for you, but I'll tell you what, the more joyful I become, the more I get done, and the more I enjoy myself, and the more I feel great about myself, and the more it just becomes this self-perpetuating system that you ultimately realise that there is absolutely nothing really to be afraid of. And whatever situation humans find themselves in, we are extraordinarily resilient. And we know this because we know throughout history there have been absolutely awful times, and that people have prevailed. They have. And I think the more that you actually train your body and your mind to understand that you will be able to find a way through any predicament, I think it is the best mindset to adopt, because I know that I have been sort of constantly preparing myself for things all the time, living in this state of hyper-vigilance, just worrying about all these terrible things, but none of them have ever come to pass. And I've always been able to deal with everything that life has thrown at me, and people might scoff, people might laugh, people might take the piss, but you know what? I've actually been through a huge amount, and I haven't actually really complained about it anywhere near as much as I could have, or complained as much as I've seen other people do. And it's your life. I think always remind yourself that it is your life, and it's worth living as fully as you possibly can. And we're always looking for these perfect exemplars of masculinity, of civilization, all these different things. And the archetypes are so vanishingly rare and hypothetical and imagined. Just start putting things into practice and see what happens, and treat everything, frankly, as an adventure, and value yourself to know that, and trust yourself to know that you are eminently more capable than you realise. You can get far more done than you currently believe, and you can lead a life so fabulous that you haven't even dared to imagine it yet. Just get out there and do.